Warning, the views and beliefs in the following program does not reflect the views of Boom Broadcasting. We give full creative control to our creators and do not believe in cancel culture because it is, now, was, and always will be an orchestrated plan by the man. And we even got to say stuff like this on Christmas. So yes, that is it. Viewer discretion is advised.
Can't fall off, now they holler he'll turn, thinking I'ma sell out, talking just to feel heard. I never listen, although they say it's strictly.
Welcome to Quick Hits. I'm your host Shannon Smith, aka Podcast Smitty. If you're new to the show, what's good? I'm Shannon. I am a fan of sport, and Quick Hits brings you the sports news every Tuesday and Friday with a little bit of witty commentary, some comic relief, and some analysis from all your favorite sports news, from all what's happening in sports here on this very show on Boom Broadcasting. Now, Tuesday's show, of course, is recapping the weekend, all that went on with the weekend. So we've got that going on for you right now on this episode. So I implore you to keep watching the show. And after you watch the show, go through the catalog of Boom Broadcasting and watch, Out of Pocket, The Gridiron Address, which is two of our live shows that we have going on, and watch a little bit of It Stinks TV and Movie Podcast with my man Sean Lucas. Watch Man Behind the Mic on Saturdays with my man Michael Davis, the Drop the Mic Wrestling Podcast on Wednesdays. The Nightcap on Monday and Friday, recapping WWE Raw and Friday Night SmackDown. Watch the Packers podcast, The Lombardi Party with Carson Williams. Watch Dad and the Boys with Michael Davis and his father, Mac. You know what? Go through it all, watch it. You don't need me to regurgitate it. Just go ahead and take a look for yourself. Make sure that you do that. And then come on right back here and watch some more quick hits. So, for my quick hitting brothers and sisters, ouch! Welcome back. We have a lot to talk about because this sports weekend was great. We had the very first 12-team playoff, I'm sorry about that, for college football. We had some NBA action. We had some NHL. We had some boxing. We had, of course, the NFL going on as well, too. So we had a lot of sports to talk about. So we're going to go ahead and get into it right here. So let's start the show. Now, we had some very exceptional performances from our athletes this weekend. So, of course, I got to start the show with some shout outs. So let's go ahead and have them here. First shout out I got to give to Alexander Usyk, retaining boxing's World Heavyweight Championship on Saturday night as he fought his second fight against Tyson Fury. The first fight went to Alexander as he won the fight. It was a split decision, I believe, was their first fight. But this fight right here was a unanimous decision as all three judges voted 116 to 112 in favor of Alexander Usyk, who will retain boxing's World Heavyweight Championship. A lot of love was displayed as Tyson Fury went over and congratulated him after the fight. But it was a very grueling fight. Alexander Usyk is 23-0. Consider himself head and shoulders above everyone in the heavyweight division, still being undefeated, 14 matches won by way of knockout. Congratulations, Alexander Usyk, on keeping the World Heavyweight title. I watched that fight. Good fight. Liked it very well, so congratulations to him. And congratulations to the Penn State Nittany Lionesses for winning their 8th national championship in volleyball. They won against Louisville 3-1. Now, I do believe that their head coach, if I'm not mistaken, was diagnosed with breast cancer. But yet she continued to coach the team. So a lot of courage being shown by Penn State's head coach of volleyball. Great job, ladies. Very, very good stuff as they win a national championship this year. And to the NBA, congratulations to Alex Caruso getting a new contract, 4-year, $81 million extension with the Oklahoma City Thunder, number one in the Western Conference, looking to solidify themselves head and shoulders above everyone in the Western Conference. And this is a good thing. Caruso, a very strong defensive player. The defensive push that the OKC Thunder need to keep alive in the Western Conference. And congratulations to Michael Penix Jr., very first start in the NFL on Sunday against the New York Giants. Granted, it was against the New York Giants, but Penix Jr. leading the team to victory, the Atlanta Falcons, that is, over the Giants, a 34-7 convincing win as he quarterbacked that team through it. And now we got to go to the not so great shout outs here, which one of them involves my team. Arizona, Seattle, the Dallas Cowboys, and my San Francisco 49ers were eliminated from playoff contention on Sunday. Dominoes did not fall for these teams. Sad, sad day, but it's all good though. Got to go back and get it done next year for both of these teams. So let's have a good draft. Let's have a good free agency. Let's get back on the field. My 49ers are a mesh unit. So hopefully they get back healthy. We need it. Let's go 49ers. Bang, bang, Niner gang still. And also a not so great shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles defense. 5 takeaways, but no dub on Sunday. Even let Jaden Daniels go down the field and get that game-winning touchdown. No disrespect to the Redskins. They played a heck of a game, but there was no way they should have won that game with 5 giveaways. That offense for the Washington Commanders shouldn't have done it. And the Eagles should have slammed the door. Even without Jalen Hurts in the game, they should have slammed the door. Should have done that. 5 takeaways from the defense. Come on, fellas. Got to do better than that. And, of course, the not-so-great shout-outs. Rest in peace to Rey Mysterio Sr. passing away at 66. The great Hispanic wrestler who is the uncle to Rey Mysterio Jr. passing away this weekend at 66. And, of course, for my Major League Baseball fans, the great stolen base king Ricky Henderson passing away at 65. 2 major heavyweights in their sports, unfortunately meeting the fate that we all will see one day. Though Rey Mysterio Sr. opening up the door to many Hispanic wrestlers, bringing pride to the ultimate gentleman's sport known as pro wrestling, was a superhero to the Hispanic American culture as a wrestler. And of course, Ricky Henderson, one of the most feared competitors in all of baseball. On-base percentage was on point. Anytime he was on the base pass, you had to watch him. You had to make sure that you knew where he was at all times. The man was elusive. The man was fast, stealing the most bases of any baseball player of all time. Rest in peace, Rey Mysterio Sr. Rest in peace, Ricky Henderson. These are your shout outs for this weekend. Let's continue with the show. And of course, this weekend we had the opening round of the college football 12-team playoff, which I was very excited about seeing. Wanted to find out who was going to do what. Would we see any upsets? What would we see out of the opening round here? And let me tell you, the opening round was not pretty. 27-17 was the final for Notre Dame and Indiana. Penn State and SMU ended in a 38-10 win for the Nittany Lions. 38-24 was the score between Texas and Clemson, with Texas coming out as the winner, and probably the toughest game to watch, if you were a Tennessee Volunteers fan, was the 42-17 massacre that Ohio State put on the Tennessee Volunteers. Now, with this opening round, there were a lot of tweets, a lot of things shared on social media talking about these games being stinkers, toilet bowl material, considering the fact that They were blowouts. Some of the games weren't even close. There was some big plays being made by one team and not so much the other. They weren't even close, is basically what they were talking about. And of course, with those talks, you have players, coaches, fans alike talking about how certain teams were excluded out of the tournament that should have been in. They were snubbed, if you will. Lane Kiffin voiced his opinion on X. A lot of these teams, a lot of these fans, they have the right to feel the way that they do. They do. I'm not saying that they shouldn't feel this way. Of course, looking at it from the outside looking in, you would think, hey, maybe an Alabama, maybe a Miami or an Ole Miss would have did well, would have did a lot better than an Indiana, than an SMU, than a Clemson or a Tennessee. Probably so. But here's the thing. When it comes down to these teams talking about being snubbed, there's no excuse. Especially with Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin talking about that. Ole Miss had bad losses to Kentucky, LSU, and Florida. Of course, those losses are going to stick out to the committee. Kentucky not being in the field of 12. LSU, who was inside of the top 10 at one point in time, but fell drastically. That loss looks like a bad loss. And in Florida, of course, Florida coming on strong at the end of the season and knocking off an upstart Ole Miss squad wasn't good. Bama can't speak, losing to Vandy and Oklahoma in convincing fashion, especially Oklahoma. Only 3 points against them. Miami couldn't get the job done between Georgia Tech and Syracuse. All they had to do was beat Syracuse. Get into the ACC championship game. Couldn't do that. So you hear coulda, woulda, shouldas all day long. And of course, one of my favorite sayings, if wishes and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. Now, would we? So here's the thing, how we can look at it like this. Of course, it's the first round. You're going to have blowouts in the first round. It's going to happen. It happens in the NCAA tournament. It happens. You're going to have blowouts. You're going to have teams get tore up. It's going to happen. Indiana couldn't swing it with Notre Dame. Notre Dame was too tough. We saw that. I didn't see Indiana winning that game at all. Indiana, there was talk about, it's hilarious how Indiana was being looked at as a great squad at one point in time until they met Ohio State, lost that game. Then they looked like they got exposed. And now people were saying that, hey, man, they didn't play the best part of the Big Ten. Debatable. SMU, who pretty much ran the ACC most of the year when it came down to win-loss record, goes into the ACC championship, loses to Clemson, who was a more seasoned ACC squad's been there before. SMU really hasn't. Ended up losing it, but Clemson going against Texas met their match. Clemson, of course, doing what they did to SMU, not able to do it against Texas. And then Tennessee, who was an at-large vote into this field of 12, just could not stand Ohio State. That's the way the ball bounces. It is what it is. But looking at it as a pure wash, it's the first round, guys. We got the next 4 seeds coming up as Notre Dame, Penn State, Texas, and Ohio State will be amongst the 8 teams going up against the top 4 seeds. Oregon going against Boise State, Georgia. Of those likes here, we're going to have some good football still left. This is a new regime that we're in. This is new times in football. We're going to be seeing some new changes in this. I think this is still going to get better. This field of 12 tournament is going to get better. Will they extend it? Maybe, maybe not. Will there be an NIT in college football? I sure hope so. That's my 2 cents on the college football playoff, or should I say my quick hits on college football. Now I'm going to be hitting the next two topics pretty hard as they're coming from the NBA. So this is my opportunity to say on Mondays, my man Jason Colenso has a great NBA podcast called 3 from Deep that comes on Monday at 12 p.m. part of your lunch break. So on Mondays, when you wait for quick hits on Tuesday and Friday, make sure that you watch him on Mondays at 12 p.m. Watch Sideline Savants with he and Wayne, the Commissioner Thomas, talking fantasy football Wednesdays at 12. The Dugout Debrief at 12 p.m. with my man Chris DeLuca. Your lunch pretty much all set up by me and these great talented podcasters, these great men that are giving you the sports while you have your lunch. So let's get to this first topic that I got in the NBA. I've been looking at a good bit of the NBA this year, and I noticed that the San Antonio Spurs are above 500 this year. 15-13 is their record as we speak. They're playing some very good basketball, in part starting with their number one pick from the draft last year, Victor Wembanyama has been playing some great basketball right now. The 20-year-old who is 7'5", very lengthy, running the floor very well, very good defensive player. His last game that he had this weekend put up a 30-point, 10-block game. So I started wondering, is Victor Wembanyama the best center in the NBA right now? Is he the best center? I wouldn't say he's the best center right now, but I will say that he is going to be very, very soon. I feel like he is going to be the future of the NBA right now. I think he is. At 20 years old, in his second year in the NBA, he has had a 50-point game. He had a 30-point, 10-block game. He's had a 5x5 game. Is it time that we start saying that Victor Wembanyama is the best center in the NBA? Is it time that we say that? Considering the fact that the San Antonio Spurs only won 21 games last year, and they've won 15 games, and we have not gotten into 2025 yet, it is in part by that play of Victor Wembanyama. Yes, he has got some help around him. He does not have his primary coach and Greg Popovich, who is getting over the stroke. Coach Pop, get well very soon. Speedy recovery, sir. The fact that Victor Wembanyama has been playing some great basketball this year, have we got to put him in the conversation as top centers in the league? You've got Giannis. You've got Joke. You've got Bam Adebayo. You've got those guys in there playing some good basketball. Rudy Gobert playing good basketball at that low post position. We already talked about it last week on Quick Hits, talking about the three-point shot being prevalent in the NBA. The fact that Victor Wembanyama can step out there and shoot that three is another thing. He may not be the consistent three-point shooter, but he's got some range. We talked about that as well, too. Jason Colenso brought up some great ideas and some great topics on his podcast from yesterday. He did some very good stuff talking about that. But I think we got to start putting Victor Wembanyama in the conversation for top centers. No, he's not the solid, strong center that looks like he's lifting with the big shoulders, the big back. He's not like Jokic, who has got the width, but Jokic has got that soft touch around the rim, that great passing ability, the shooter's touch, 15 to 18 feet. He doesn't have that. Victor Wembanyama, a great two-way player, offense and defense. Finishes at the basket very well. Able to get the jump shot, hard to guard in the low post. He does stay out on the perimeter a little bit too much. He does do that. But with his work with the lengthy arms, being around the basket, able to secure offensive rebounds, able to clear the glass on defense, able to be an imposing force. Anytime the ball is in the air, he's able to swat shots, able to pin the ball to the backboard, able to get the ball down court as well too, able to pass the ball with some good touch. Dare we say future MVP? Dare we say face of the league very soon? With LeBron and Steph Curry on the back ends of their careers, are they passing the torch to Victor Wembanyama? Only time will tell. But I believe Victor Wembanyama should be looked at as one of the top centers in the NBA as we speak. Let's get on to the next topic. And now to my last topic here, which is about the NBA again. So we'll go ahead and get into this last one. And then I'm going to let you alone because you know what? It's Christmas. Get back to your families. It's Christmas Eve right now. I know you're getting ready for the holiday dinner. You're getting ready to sit around with the family. Some probably open maybe one or two gifts before Christmas morning. So I'm going to go ahead and get you with this, and then I'm going to get you out of here. So one thing that I do, of course, is I watch my guys. I watch, Mike. I watch Chris. I watch Carson, Aaron, Jason, Wayne, Sean. All my guys here on Boom Broadcasting First getting the sports. Watch all of them. I like to get their perspective on things. And then I broaden out to other podcasts. And I must say that I was very captivated by what Stephen A. Smith had to say about this topic that I'm going to bring up. We've been hearing how the NBA viewership has been down, how the NBA viewership has been declining. Many people are turning off the NBA. Many people are not watching the NBA like they used to be on TV. And so many are wondering why. Many are wondering. And Stephen A. Smith brought up a quote from Magic Johnson talking about players don't hate each other anymore is the reason why the viewership in the NBA is down. And it really made me think. Magic Johnson coming up in that 80s era, him and Bird going at it. Segue into Mike and Isaiah going at it. The Pistons and the Bulls going at it. You had Reggie Miller going at Spike Lee a little bit. The New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers going at each other. Then of course Reggie and Mike going at it as well too. You had the Lakers and the Kings going at each other. One of my favorite rivalries coming up in that 2000s where the Kings and the Lakers are going at it for the Western Conference Championship. Seemed like interchangeably. Two of those teams were very, very good. Peja, Chris Webber, Mike Bibby, Jason Williams, Doug Christie. Also going at Kobe, Rob Horry, Rick Fox, Shaquille O'Neal. Those squads were great. But apparently, as the seasons have gone and those players have retired, it seems like these players in the NBA are becoming friends. Becoming very friendly. You see them doing the jersey swaps at the end of the game. You see them laughing and joking and ha-ha, funny. Which, by all means, I'm not mad at. That's cool to have love for each other and show love to each other. That's cool. I get it. But one thing that I do want to entertain is that, these players do not hate each other like they used to. You don't see Mike and Reggie dapping each other up at the end of the game. You don't see Isaiah and Mike doing that. You don't see Bird and Magic doing any of that stuff. They're ready to get each other. You don't see Charles Barkley doing things like that. Charles Oakley, Patrick Ewing, that New York Knicks squad. You don't see that. You saw the animosity when Pippen put that dunk down in the playoffs and stepped over the players. You don't see that anymore. You don't see it. The league has gotten too friendly. And I want to pose this right here to those that are watching that may be thinking that I'm a grizzled old man, that I'm the grumpy old fan. I want to pose this alternative to you. I liken it to this right here. I understand that guys like LeBron and guys like Steph Curry have an image. They're pillars of their community. Curry, a Christian man. LeBron, stand-up guy. A lot of those players are like that, and they have their lives to look at. They do. But I also want to look at it like this. That player over there is looking you right in the eyes and wants to take something from you. Why in the world would you allow that? Why would you allow that? You can be a pillar in your community. You can be a pillar in your community. You can kiss babies and hand out turkeys at Thanksgiving. You can be a pillar to your community, but you can go out there and take out your opponent at the same time as well too. What I love about Mike the most is Mike was a class guy in front of the camera. But when you got out on that court, Mike tore you up. Mike ate you up. That assassin's mentality was there. He took your soul out on that court. What's wrong with that? Me, I bring up the fact I'm a wrestling fan. I look at it like this, wrestling, of course, the rivalries make it, the mic skills make it, and then, of course, the physicality comes in. You got to be able to sell this. And wrestling does a wonderful job of that. Look at the other sports that have been gaining traction. Look at the WNBA. There were people that weren't really looking at the WNBA. Even though I don't agree with how the WNBA did their controversy, I don't really agree with it because it seems a little racial to me. But the fact that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese were going at each other, and it was pitted as that made the WNBA a lot more watchable. There were people out there that were watching it. When Kelsey Plum talked about how the New York Liberty played individual ball, and that sowed a seed into this year's team that won the WNBA championship. That says a lot. When I watch college basketball and I see Hannah Hidalgo, Juju Watkins, Paige Becker, who, by the way, had a banger of a game this weekend. UConn and USC had a banger of a game this weekend because a rivalry was involved, because they're looking at who's the best player in the nation. And those three got something to say. A rivalry is being created. Looking at the NFL. You got the NFL doing the same thing. The NFL has got guys out there. Yeah, they may do the jersey swap. They may pray in the middle of the field. They may do that. But at the end of the day, these guys are going after each other. The physicality of the game is there. Look at the NHL. The NHL may not be as popular as the NFL or any of the other major pro sports, but they fight. And some of these players go out there and they fight each other. The NBA doesn't do any of that. It seems like the NBA is all centered around making friends, load control as well too. They don't play all their games. Some of these kids want to see these players play, and they sit out. How dare you guys? And you want to be taken seriously. The NBA, they're kumbaya, being friends. And the product of the game is going down. Oh, it's no coincidence. The three-point shot is not the blame for it. It's the fact that the competitive, the tenacity is being taken out of the game because these guys really don't want to play. Or these guys feel like they can take plays off. And they're playing their buddies. That's not good for the sport. These guys want to play with each other instead of against each other, it seems like. I see that as a problem. As competitive as pro sports can be, is the competitive nature. What's wrong with being competitive? What's wrong with looking at that guy and saying, I respect your game, but I'm going to take you out? The NBA doesn't have that. There's players that need to take that up and say, hey, I got respect for him, but I don't like him. I'm going to take him out. Not in my house. That to me is why the NBA is losing out. That's why they're losing out. No tenacity, no competitiveness. Let's go out there and let's be men, fellas. That's a challenge for you guys. Make the NBA competitive. Put the physicality back in the game. Make these guys go out there and earn it. That's my quick hit for the NBA. And you got your 30-minute sports talk right here on Boom Broadcasting for this Tuesday episode of Quick Hits. I got you out of here. Get back to your families. Get in front of that TV, watch a little bit of football. Get in front of that TV, watch a little bit of basketball. But most importantly, sit down and enjoy your families. Remember, guys, for those out there receiving gifts, giving gifts, remember, in all things, it's the thought that counts. No gift is too big, no gift is too small, unless you make it that way. And also remember, Santa Claus is what you make of it here. Santa Claus is what you make of it. Whether you're playing Santa or whether you're waiting for Santa, remember the true meaning of the season. Make sure you give that gift to somebody. Give your heart to someone. Give a little bit more than what you would give on any day here for Christmas Eve. Thank you very much for watching the show. Hopefully you have a wonderful, very Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Three Kings Days, whatever you celebrate. Make sure you have very happy holidays. Spend time with your family. Spend time with your friends. Enjoy this time off if you got it. I got to head on Christmas Day. But hopefully I'll get off half a day like I did Thanksgiving to see my family. Exchange some gifts. I'm playing St. Nick yet again. Call me Smitty Claus. That's what they call me. So, by all means, God bless. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Merry Christmas. What should I say? Merry Quick Hits. I may see you Friday, and if I don't, I'll see you next Tuesday.
Can't fall off, now they holler he'll turn, thinking I'ma sell out, talking just to feel heard. I never listen, although they say it's true.